Listen, I know that ABC is owned by Disney, and at one point probably stood for the Abrams Broadcasting Corporation. But if J.J. Abrams thinks he can go from Star Trek to Star Wars without anybody raising a fuss, then he's a bigger Disney sellout than I thought. I mean, none of my other cinematic heroes would do that. What's that, BB-8? Tim Burton? Well, I mean, Burton's near the end of his career, surely. I mean, who else? Joss Whedon. Yeah, right. Well, maybe this just shows that my cinematic gods lack moral fiber. Sorry? Yeah, Real School's part of the NG4TV network, so what? Owned by who? I, for one, would like to wish a Merry Christmas to the greatest corporation on Earth. All hail the mouse. While I am kidding, I don't think anybody who works for Disney is a sellout. The fact of the matter is, Disney didn't have second thoughts about whoring out the Star Wars franchise. Think about all the commercials you saw for Star Wars related products, trucks, makeup, hoagies, laptops, cereal, and that's before all the toys. I think you can relax, Disney. Only about 8.5 billion people are gonna go see this movie. And when did Star Wars and trucks become a thing? If you didn't know J.J. Abrams for the non-truck driving nerd that he is, chances are you knew him because of his work on Fringe, Lost, the new Star Trek films. Now, while some will say it's blasphemy to cross from Trek to Wars, this was seemingly JJ's plan all along. In fact, in the commentary for the first Abrams Star Trek, they said they wanted to bring a little more Star Wars into Star Trek. What they meant by that is Star Trek was always known for its politics, writing, and subtext, while Wars was known for its entertainment value, adventure, and spectacle. But what this really means is for the first time since the original trilogy, we're finally going to get a Star Wars film from someone who truly gets Star Wars. That includes the prequel trilogy, which were made by the guy who created Star Wars. And this brings up one small criticism that I had of the film, that J.J. Abrams, as a super fan, got caught up in the nostalgia more often than not, and as a director, didn't make the necessary choices to make the best film available. In fact, the story often seemed like it was just waiting for the next moment of fanfare. And if you went one of the opening nights with a hardcore audience, you know what I mean. The Millennium Falcon revealed. Han and Chewie walk on screen. C-3PO shows up. Woo! Seeing Solo and Chewie were like throwing on an old sweater after 20 years, and look at that, it still fits. Okay, I can dream through similes, but the fact of the matter is they weren't even the comfiest sweater. As a young man who grew up loving the Muppets and stop-motion animation, it was films like the original Star Wars trilogy, Willow, and even Ghostbusters with their practical effects that made me believe in movie magic. Don't get me wrong, we've come a long way since the prequel trilogy, but I died a little on the inside when I saw CG Yoda, and Christensen's acting, and Jar Jar. Abrams went old school, prosthetics, dudes in animatronic suits, and puppets, and it was so much better than what could have been the oversaturated CG environment that we see all the time. It was pretty much Abrams telling Lucas, you made one mistake with the prequel trilogy. One mistake? It was Abrams telling Lucas, you forgot where you came from. You got caught up in the technology rather than the magic of storytelling. So for throwing it back to the roots of creativity, those practical effects are Star Wars: The Force Awakens for the win. As I mentioned before, the nostalgia is strong in this one, but unfortunately that left a little to be desired when it came to the new mythology and the new characters, including the new representative of the dark side. Or it's more like the dark side light. I really enjoyed this new take on the Sith Lord, if you can call him that. Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, is broken. He's torn between the light and the dark, and Driver's performance really conveys that pain. The issue becomes, as powerful as this character is, he's still not intimidating. Speaking of not intimidating, it could have been worse. He could have been General Hux, a ginger, baby-faced Nazi wannabe who, quite frankly, comes from a long line of similar British dudes who command the Empire. Seriously though, I know the Empire has clones, but do they also grow skinny, weaselly British dudes? Actually, that reminds me, there were a few things I felt that were kind of cloned. I really enjoyed Oscar Isaac's performance as Poe Dameron, pretty much proving that this character actor can play anything. But the fact is, much like Vader Light with Adam Driver, I felt that Isaac was Han Solo light, this generation's Han Solo. Sarcastic, cocky, but still good at what he does. The plot as well was very similar. The Resistance,
Rebellion,
has to stop the First Order,
Empire,
from using the immense planetoid weapon, the Star Killer.
Death Star.
From you know what? You get the idea. It's pretty much the same story that you've seen in both A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. The gist of this review is, I'm just nitpicking. I can forgive all the film's faults because of its entertainment value. It is such a fun film to watch. It's so rewatchable. And the fact is, it throws back successfully to the original trilogy, which is what we all wanted to see in the first place. I can also forgive it being a little derivative because I know that Poe, Finn, and Rey will all get a chance to build on the awesome stories that they had in The Force Awakens when it comes to the sequels and completing this new trilogy.
And maybe they'll explain how Finn can wield a lightsaber. That's a Jedi's weapon.
For the true Wars fan, this is the film you're looking for, and it is an earn it.
Poll question, who is your favorite Star Wars character? So many to choose from. As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link, and you can become a Real School patron. But until next time, school's out.